What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and bright and early in the morning, we have some news on Scream. Some actually gigantic news, not necessarily in terms of answers, but to give us more questions, as if we needed more questions for this movie. But BuzzFeed, everybody's favorite site in the world, did a little bit of a breakdown by also adding things to the trailer. So they talk about, they're so excited for the new Scream movie, yada, yada, yada. Let's go through the trailer. Okay, well, let's do that. But then they add things to it in terms of, it seems like, scenes and phrases, like, I guess dialogue, right, between characters that were not in the trailer. So, there's a couple things I want to talk about, but the biggest thing is that Sam has a secret. So they show us Melissa Barrera, who plays new protagonist Sam Carpenter, gives us a deep dive into her character. My character, Sam, becomes the target of the Ghostface killer, and she seeks Dewey for help, she explains. But Sam also has a secret, and it's not so little now that Ghostface is involved. And then you're like, well, wait a second. That first part was Melissa Barrera talking. Now what's this? Then they show the picture, and they say, Sam, who is this, talking to Ghostface in the hospital. We've seen this scene, a couple different parts of the scene in the trailer, and then Ghostface says, someone who knows your little secret. And so again, basically, she reaches out to Dewey. That's what David Arquette said. He says Dewey really wants to help because he's got a huge heart. And then we see Dewey, get Sidney back involved into the mix. We have some cast members saying that things are going to be shocking. The things that happen are going to be shocking. And then we have an additional thing from Sidney. So it looks like we have the exact same scene from when you see her meet Sam, and she says, Samantha, she says, I know who you are. And then Sidney says, I've been through this a lot. And now they add to that, Sidney, I've been through this a lot. Whoever this is going to keep coming for you. Sam says, so, ? Sidney, so I want you to help us kill him. We also get a slightly better version of Gail in her, reporting attire, actually along with Sam. So those two are doing something. There's the ambulance, so maybe this is after, they bring Tara to the hospital. And also, I guess one final smaller thing is the scene where, Sidney seems to look at Gail and says, you ready? And then Gail says, for this, it seems like there's actually more to it, screaming in the distance. So maybe it's just, I don't think it has to come across as scary as maybe they're going to make it seem, but it's probably just somebody in the house, maybe even Sam, right? Screaming. And then these two are, outside talking about it. So look, a couple things throughout it. We also got Kevin Williamson saying it's a really good way of connecting the new cast with the old cast. So some new details, but really the biggest thing in my opinion is this secret from Sam. It's oh, hold on there. Now, I guess we could have maybe expected that, right? She's the new protagonist. Even if you think about, well, I guess if you go back to Scream 1, right? Sidney in a way has a little bit more depth to her than you may think, especially with her mother. And that obviously really Sidney's depth with her family ties is what started everything, you know what I mean? So she's not just a bland character that oh, woe is me. Things are happening to her and she didn't exactly do anything to deserve it, but they have direct ties to her, you know what I mean? Then you go to Scream 4, you could say maybe Jill and Kirby. There's some depth to those characters, especially Jill, that we find out at the end. So for this one, it does make sense, you know what I mean? It's something that maybe we should have expected, but I never really thought about. Sam has a secret and Ghostface knows who it is. So two things that come with that, in my opinion. Number one, it opens up the possibility for Sam to be related in some way to Stu or Billy almost immediately. Now, we've talked about the killer being related to Stu or Billy, maybe even being Stu, right? We've said that. And I don't think that I don't think that possibility disappears just because of this. In fact, I think it actually maybe makes it stronger. If Sam is a relative of Billy or Stu, and then you want to keep, and I'm completely fine with people going on the path that they want Ghostface to be Stu, or they think that it's possible. That wouldn't make sense. Maybe Stu's well, why in God's name, you're related to me or you're related to Billy? Why aren't you helping out or carrying a legacy or, whatever? I think there's a path they could go down, with that. If she is related, it seems like to me, and I think this is probably the first thing that would pop in a lot of people's heads, maybe they want this to happen so that they can reverse it. But the first thing that pops up when you hear somebody like this has a secret, Ghostface knows what it is, but Sam doesn't want to say anything, it probably, or I guess again, the first thing you may think of is that it is related to family ties. Maybe she's related to, or she knows something about, blank, whatever. but that there is some sort of connection there that she almost refuses to acknowledge, right? That she knows it's there, but she's just gonna kind of push it aside. Maybe it's even why she knows that, like, when she says on the couch, right, about the killings are, connected, when she's talking about that, maybe that's even almost as close as she can get to saying what she wants to say, but just not saying it. And then somebody who knows that from her, I guess if you wanted to move away from the Stu or Billy thing, the fact that she has a secret and somebody knows who the secret is, really, to me, two people jump out immediately, okay? And again, maybe they're for specific reasons that they want to, flip on us later. One is Richie, right, her boyfriend. He would probably know, stuff, something that she would maybe confine in him, right? So that could definitely be something. And the second person is Tara. So, like, she has a younger sister, and I don't know if they're supposed to be, like, the ages that they actually are apart. If they are, then they're roughly like 12, 13 years separated. Maybe they're supposed to be closer, but the bottom line is they are sisters. And Sam leaves, right? That's kind of the whole idea of the beginning of the movie that we have heard, in the synopsis and stuff, is Sam has left, the town, and then when Tara gets attacked, she comes back. So maybe it's related to Tara, maybe Tara knows something that, again, Sam knows but refuses to acknowledge, and she's mad. Again, though, like, would she allow herself to get destroyed as much as she does in the opening, just to kind of prove a point and to kind of throw people off of her being Ghostface? Definitely possible. People are lunatics in these movies. So I think that honestly opens up Tara pretty big. I just think it does. You know what I mean? If it's Stu, obviously that makes sense because because there would be maybe a relationship there. Richie being a boyfriend would probably know some sort of secret, but really, even I would say more than Richie, Tara would know the most out of, what I mean? Or maybe not even know the most, but maybe have questions. Like, we don't know about their parents. We don't know about their, like, lineage. And maybe Sam sold, like, a fake story to Tara, like, growing up, and Tara believed it, but then she found out, and that's the whole kind of revenge idea that they're going for in this movie. She was lied to. I don't know, but I mean, it definitely, these were not even things. I guess there were things we were eventually going to talk about, because at some point you'd have to know why Ghostface is going after Sam. That's the whole point. Is Sam's, they're painting it to be like that. Whether Sam is the last person or the survivor, the final girl, or not, the idea is Ghostface is going after her and her friends, and then Sydney kind of gets brought in. So that was the idea of the movie from the start. We just didn't really know why. Now we do. In a way. We know in a way that she has a secret, but now we just need to figure out what that secret is. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? What's her secret? Do you think she's related to somebody? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. I've been pumping out these Scream videos. I've been loving them. I'm going to be continuing them, as we go along these next few weeks and months. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my second channel or support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, links for all of them are in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.